Here's my question to you all. What is a way to raise the frequency while keeping the amperage at the same level without applying a battery? You feel what I'm saying? And the only way that you could do that is with amplification methods, or springs, as I call them. Basically, how can you, how should I put this? How can you achieve more amperage while also raising the voltage without adding more batteries? That's the question that I pose to you all, right? Because as many of you know, the more you raise the amperage, the less you raise the frequency, or the more the frequency decreases. The frequency in terms being voltage. The higher you raise the voltage, the lower the amperage. It's like they're all one and the same. And it's interesting, right? Like, I want to be able to raise the frequency and or voltage, but I don't know how to keep the amperage the same. Thank you, Spirit. I don't know how to keep the amperage the same without adding more batteries. You know what I'm saying? Because if I add more batteries with their own independent setup, yeah, I can end up with a system that matches the voltage, or really raises the voltage while keeping the amperage the same. Right? And I wouldn't even say it's weird. The only way that I know of that could achieve that is, honest to God, just amplification methods, or springs as I call them. And if you don't know what springs are, here's a better way to say it. Something, and we all know that energy is neither created nor destroyed, but everything in nature always has potential energy for something. You have the leaves, you have the leaves for combustion and burning, you have anything that's round for rolling and friction, and you have anything that's watery for vibratory or acoustic amplification. So depending on the context, anything is a spring, hence thereof calling it that. So now the question becomes, what's the right spring for a system that wants to raise its voltage but keep the amperage the same? Like, that's the question that needs to be answered. I wouldn't even say needs to be answered, but in order for you to find the exact amplification method for you to achieve that, that is what is required. I'll say that much. That is what's required. And I really can't think of any, right? Because using a bunch of capacitors in series, while yes, they do boost the voltage, the amperage still stays the same. It's like there's nothing, unless, and I'll say this, unless you were to have a way for, right? Because if you're not going to use a battery, you're going to have to use a spring that has what you want to be amplified already there. It's like sound wave acoustics. You want more sound waves for the same amount of energy? Well, you use plastic bottles. And the only way you use plastic, not the only way, the one reason, because it's not the only, but the one reason you would use plastic bottles is because of its acoustic properties. It being able to basically resonate, just like a plastic cup. It's an opening and it's a cavity, something that can create an oscillatory pressure wave for the same amount of energy. But you're also raising the amplitude like that. It's the only one that I know that does the inverse. It raises the amplitude but keeps the frequency the same. But energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's just unlocking another avenue for that. You feel what I'm saying? Like when I blow across a bottle and I have three other bottles that are tuned to the same exact frequency, all three of them are gonna resonate. And that's called resonance. You can see that with tuning forks. You hit one at 432, another is gonna resonate at 432. But one at 417 won't even move. And that's because their natural frequencies are matched. And when you match that, their amplitudes constructively interfere when they're close enough. When they're close enough, it seems like there's more energy, and there is, but it's not like your source of energy just caused that one to gain energy. That one already had it ready to go. You just had to unlock it with your input energy source. That's the difference. Like, you think that your energy is causing another to build up energy when really you're just unlocking it. It's like a key to a river dam. The energy is always there. You just have to find the right key to unlock it. And so with that, which is so freaking hilarious to me, how you can basically keep the same exact amplitude but can't even raise the frequency. Hold up. Hold up. Wait. Hold on. You can increase the amplitude. There are ways to increase the amplitude, but you can't raise or decrease the frequency, at least without affecting the amplitude. And if that's the case, then what would happen if you were to create enough pressure to counteract your weight and gravity affecting you, but you do more of that for the same amount of power using amplification methods that instead of increasing the frequency actually increases the amplitude. See, because when that happens, not only are you counteracting gravity, you're going higher into the sky. And then you can add a frequency modulator. Wait a minute. Hold on. Thank you, ancestors. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold on. Hold on. It's the same exact thing with AC and DC. How you transform DC into AC back into DC. You're basically increasing the amplitude. And then you're modulating that amplitude to achieve the result that you want. It's the same way how a DC motor works. At least in principle and concept. But if you know you can raise the amplitude, and the amplitude is what you want to achieve, and you know how to achieve that, but you also want to raise the frequency too, then just find a way to modulate the output that you've already created. Like you're creating, I'm not even gonna say you're creating, you're transforming that energy from one state into another, and then you're modulating the product thereof to achieve the result that you want. Literally, and I go back to this freaking example. It's like you sending DC to a commutator that's able to switch the current back and forth and turn the rotor into AC, which creates directional motion. And then it's being sent back to the battery as DC. It's energy transformation. It's another way of doing that. Like, honest to God, it's another way of transforming energy to achieve the desired result that you want. I like that. I like that. Meaning, I don't have to focus on trying to keep the amplitude the same when I know how to keep it the same. And the only way that I can really oscillate or really affect the frequency without affecting the amplitude, the only way you can do that is if you don't touch the amplitude entirely. That's the only way you can do that. Like, you don't affect that energy, you affect the object around it. Right? You don't use that AC to create DC. You just find ways to connect it back into the DC source. You don't use high amplitudes to try to make higher frequencies. You use another system that can oscillate that force while allowing it to stay at the same exact pressure. Huh. I like that. I like that. Huh. So now the goal is, how can I achieve the freaking amplitude? Multiple ways to go about it, though. And it depends on what type of amp. Oh, hold on. Hold on. I can talk about this because it's so broad because of the principles of the first live. Okay, it depends on how I achieve that amount of pressure. Like, do I use heat? Do I use sound waves? Do I use a vacuum state? How would I do it though? Ooh. Right. It's interesting because once you create that amount of force for the same amount of energy, and then you oscillate that force, because having that energy be at a specific force and then having that be pulsed out, ooh, like, it doesn't even matter what means you use to generate that high amount of pressure. As long as it reaches more than enough to counteract your weight and gravity, you're in a ball game. Okay. Oh crap, we are way too freaking close. So now, all it takes right now currently is just finding ways structurally. Like, again, the concept is finished. Like, the concept, the math, everything works out and checks out. Only thing that's left now is just the materials and what you want to achieve. It's like Asmith's freaking Omnitrix. And that's another thing. When you're constructing something, don't be afraid to make it bulky. Right? Because you'll be able, when you fine tune and understand the principles more and better and get and obtain better materials, you'll find ways to achieve the same results, but with less materials and less energy. And when that happens, your designs also change too, to the point where you can reach, well, basically a slim watch in terms of just a box on your hand. But don't be afraid to have that box on your hand. That's another thing. Just go, just go make that box. And yeah, that seems about just does it. Yeah, just find a way to increase the amplitude and then modulate that amplitude. Yeah, I like that. And we finna go sum this up. Again, I highly recommend when that live is available, because sometimes those lives don't be showing up. Go watch episode 41 in how to achieve fluttering. And as always, before I even leave, we're finna discuss one more thing, because I feel like there's something. I'm finna keep rambling until something strikes. Confirmation. I'm finna keep rambling on until something strikes. Strike, strike, strike. Kinetic movement, and how that kinetic movement can transform its forces. It does it differently in solids, liquids, and gases. In gases, you have pneumatic systems where you can have a higher output of force, but it's slower. The same with hydraulics. But in solids, it's way different because instead of all of that force being transformed, because all of the force is going to be moved through it, but because it doesn't flex, wait a minute, it doesn't flex. It's rigid. Because solids are rigid, they're more likely going to retain all that energy without increasing it. So instead of you getting a force multiplication, you're getting a force dampener in a way, right? Like, crap. Actually, yeah. So if this was a freaking pyramid, right? Let's say, and this is not the exact dimensions. Trust me, you see this for yourself. Let's say this is 1 centimeter in diameter, and this is 20 centimeters in diameter, and I were to strike this at 20 newtons of force, boom, all of that energy is gonna go down. But because of its wide surface area and because it can't flex nor move, instead of it just, pushing, it's just gonna spread out all that energy. So instead of just having 20 newtons under here in one particular spot, you're having 20 newtons spread across it. Meaning that one particular spot that I pointed at is 1 newton of force. Meaning if I were to switch this up, and this is for something solid, not pneumatics nor hydraulics. This is for solid structures like a brick in the shape of a pyramid. If I were to switch this up and I were to put 20 newtons on a 20 centimeter 20 centimeter diameter, and I were to have it output here, boom, I do this, all of that 20 centimeters of force is being focused here. Like, it's still the same amount that I inputted, but it's being transformed and concentrated in a way to where it can do way more work than what I did here. Meaning 20 newtons of force applied to 20 centimeters in diameter, focused down to 1 centimeter in diameter. That's a 20 time amplification. Matter of fact, that's 20 times mechanical advantage. You got 20 mechanical advantage just by flipping a structure. Into which, instead of you having 1 newton of force from applying 20 newtons, you now have 400 newtons of force from applying 20 newtons. And yes, there are caveats with it. Obviously, you're gonna have systems and situations one where one system is gonna have losses thereof, and the other one is going to have little to none. But still, the mechanical advantage is there. You feel what I'm saying? And I was thinking about this yesterday or the day before, like, how can I have a solid behave like a pneumatic system? And it naturally does that. But it's the fact that it's not rigid. Like, it's the fact that it's rigid and not elastic, right? Like, those crystalline bonds are so solid together to the point where they can't even be compressed. Like, yes, you can compress it if you have a strong enough force, but it doesn't flex or bend like how water or any type of fluid moves. It just breaks. And because of that, the force transfers through solids more quickly. And this is okay. Now I see why. Now I see why this was tripping me up. Different solids have different densities thereof, into which how they dissipate those amount of newtons of force, right? Like, you can have wood and you can have aluminum. You can strike both of them, but the wood would dissipate more of that energy as heat in comparison to aluminum that can not only retain it but send it through the entire structure. That's what was tripping me up. I was like, how come every solid can be transferred like pneumatics and hydraulics using the same exact principle that kind of mimics it? And that's the reason why. It's not that it's not that you aren't having that amount of power send through both materials. Is that because of how those materials are shaped on the atomic scale? That is why one will dissipate more energy and one will retain and sometimes even amplify that energy. That's why. So, yeah, that's really why you'll have basically two structures, one made out of wood, one made out of metal, specifically aluminum. And when you move this one doesn't even create a sound. But when you move this one sounds like lightning. This one is retaining way more energy for the amount that you are putting in versus how this one is just dissipating more heat. And so, yeah, not only are you externally getting mechanical advantage, you're doing that internally on the atomic scale too. So, yeah, when you match the internal and the internal, maximum power output. And I'm going to leave it at that. And as always, stay peaceful, blessed, a miracle up in those you will appreciate and well taken care of. By the divine one above all our high source and God, as well as everyone that truly and genuinely and neatly cares about you deeper than their souls. Always remember that here you are loved. We care about you here. If no one else does, we do. I do know that we're here. Don't be afraid to talk to us. Don't be afraid to talk with us. We're here for you when you need it. We're here for you. The community tab always on my YouTube. Just hit it up. Okay? Now come in for this hug. Yeah, come in. And comment check. Let's see. Shugan. Let's see. I'm that one. You got a popcorn in your hair, bro. Wait, where? I don't see it. Wait a minute, where's the popcorn? Where is it? I want me something to eat now. Let's see. Rofida Cialiti. Wait, did someone? Nah, I don't think so. But let's see. Kibu Zupuri. I said your name. Hello. Hi. But yeah, since there ain't nothing else, yeah, nothing important here, so. In his own way, he is a shape he said adios. Hold on. In his own way, he is a shape he said adios.